Yeah.
I thank you for joining Hawaii Wellness Directory Network, and we have a special guest today that has been an advertiser for many years, Maureen Pua'na.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Great. We have so much to talk about because you have so many amazing products and services, and I don't know where to start.
Well, I have so much fun. I could start with my original work in the last 17 years has been to teach Reiki. And so I have traveled throughout the mainland U.S., done some classes in Canada, and have been based here in Hawaii for most of that time. And I also then, about 6 years ago, started doing some intuitive work, which I'll tell you more about as you wish. And I also do mastermind courses on law of attraction, and I do those pretty well online or by phone, which is really fun because I'm traveling everywhere these days.
Yes, you've been a world traveler.
I am.
We missed you here. You're glad you're back.
Me too.
Great. And you have you're actually an author for many years, and so you have a book that you've had out for a while.
Yeah.
About Reiki. And also you have a new book coming out as well.
I've got a couple of them in the works. So this book here, My Naked Journey, my mother, when I sent her a copy of the book when it first came out, said, I know it's your naked journey, but I hope it's not mine. Because she was worried I was going to talk about all my mother's stories in the book. And the subtitle is A Reiki Master's Quest to Live Authentically. And it was really what Reiki was bringing out in me during my beginning years teaching Reiki. However, another subtitle could be Dumb Things Maureen Did to Stress Herself Out and What You Can Do Differently. So it's rather amusing, and most people can relate to it well because it's very much about all the things we do to add stress to our lives that aren't necessary.
Right. Taking ourselves too seriously.
Heaven forbid, yes.
So you published this book several years ago.
Yes, this was published back about 9 years ago, and I also have, I'm a contributing author for a book, A Chicken Soup for the Soul book on law of attraction.
Wow.
So I have that out. We have one coming out in 2013, I believe, too.
Great.
Yeah.
And you're working on another book.
I've got 3 books in the works.
What is the title of your book?
One of the others, the working title, is basically how to fulfill your life purpose in 30 minutes a day.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That keeps it. We can do 30 to 60 days. It seems like, putting that to the
Well,
test.
30 minutes a day.
Oh, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
And I guess setting a goal for like 30 to 60 days.
That would work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
You can definitely see results within 30 to 60 days.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it. When is that going to come out?
I don't have a set date yet. I'm still fine-tuning details, and it's one of the things. It's like this book, I sort of had it in the works for quite a while, and then all of a sudden it was time, and within less than 6 months I had the published book in hand. So this one I think will be the same way. It's been gelling.
So, and you have a website, so if someone wanted to take a class from you, or
I have 2 websites actually that, or one main one. My main website is enjoyinglife.com. That's enjoyinglife.com. And from there you can link to my 2 other sites. One is reiki-hawaii.com, and the other one is ourhigherwisdom.com, which is kind of the most unusual work that I do.
Wonderful. So if someone had like one question, because it's nice to get a reading,
yes,
but sometimes you just have a question in between and have a few different directions to go. So you have gatherings where you can come in a group and
absolutely.
ask a question.
In fact, I love the intuitive gatherings, and if you go to ourhigherwisdom.com, you'll be able to see what gatherings are coming up. And in these gatherings, I sometimes have a dozen, 20, 30 people, depending on where and who. And I've done these gatherings around the world. I've done them in Austria, I've done them in London, as well as on the mainland and here in Hawaii. And what happens is in the gatherings, there's a group energy that collects. And with the group, I get to be the voice, I'll call it, for our higher wisdom, our higher selves, that part of us that has clarity, has perspective, and has the clear insight that we are often seeking. And so in the group situations, I go into what I call my wiser place and allow people to ask questions. Not everybody in the group needs to ask a question, but everybody leaves saying that they feel like they got what they came for. They got the answers, they got the clarity, got the insight.
So So I've been lucky enough to attend, and what's really nice is that other people were asking totally different questions about their life, and I actually learned something. There was, you know, bits and pieces of everybody's question that I could relate to my life, and that's an interesting way to put that. So it was really, really nice that you could sit there and kind of listen to other people's questions. And still get something out of it.
And I feel, even if people are not even coming with a question or feeling that they need some insight or guidance, it's at the very least really entertaining.
Well, yes, absolutely. You never know what people are going to ask.
What they're going to ask or what comes out of my mouth. It's sometimes I'm very shocked sometimes at what's said. So a lot of the group gatherings we try and record. I do teleclasses also online, and those I always record and post them up on my website. So, and there's usually some techniques or some law of attraction practices that I talk on the teleclasses, and then open it up for questions from the callers on the phone lines. So,
and you do private readings too.
Absolutely, yes. And
I think it's good to go try someone, because a lot of times I'll get calls on, you know, I have some questions, or I'm going through challenges right now and I need some answers, and I don't, you know, who do you recommend? And I think that they should connect to the, you know, to the person. So it's nice to kind of get to know you a little bit before they commit to an intimate one-on-one.
Yeah, or one-on-one, and just even the time and the money is nice. So a group gathering is wonderful, or free teleclass. They can definitely get a feel for it. And although I can't answer everyone's questions.
Right. Sometimes I've gone to gatherings when there was 40 or 50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot for.
And everybody gets something.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot from everybody else.
That's great.
And it was neat being around people that were going through the same in transition and spiritual growth that I was going through. So really nice people, nice friends.
Yeah. Well, and I love the questions that come up in the gatherings. Everything from, I had one question some years back at a gathering where a guy asked, well, you know, I have this really great connection with my mother, and she's been passed on for quite some time, but what will happen to this connection when she reincarnates?
And that's a great question.
And it was a great question. So it wasn't about a personal, you know, guidance kind of question, but more of a, you know, a philosophical. And what I remember from the answer was an explanation that it's a misconception to think of our soul or our eternal self being limited to the body or to the physical life, that the soul is so expansive that we can and often are in more than one incarnation at, quote, the same time. Of course, you're outside of time and space when you get to that realm. So
right. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Would you like to go into your wiser place?
I would love to.
And we have an audience here, and they're
Yes,
going to ask some questions.
I would love that.
And see what entertaining questions or
anything.
Comes out.
What comes up.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes
That'd
up.
be great.
And what I will explain also is I take a moment to go into what I call my wiser place. And I close my eyes and I just sort of relax and shift to what that place that feels very familiar to me now. And when the energy changes in my body, it usually causes me to burp. And so when I'm on the phone, I can mute the phone so no one has to hear it. So we'll see how the recording goes with this. I'll try and do it. I'll try and do it carefully. But it is just, and when I'm in a group, in a session, a live session, it's fine. I just go there. So it keeps me very humble to be burping in front of everybody. But it's just what happens. So
you guys.
I'm just preparing you. So I'm just gonna just shift for a moment.
Would you like to get a closer look at her book while she's doing that?
Oh,
and
thank you.
In the back of the book.
There we go, my naked body.
It's a journey,
body
not
or
the
journey.
body.
There's.
Oh, my naked.
I guess we choose to hear what we want to hear inside of our heads.
I did have someone ask me if I had photos in the book.
Here's the back. Yes, well, that would be. You'll have to buy the book to find out.
I won't tell you
what's inside.
Cool.
So we're not drinking on the air. And you can.
Oh,
also,
wow. A quote from Mark Victor Hansen.
Yes.
Wow.
And you can also find Maureen in the Hawaii Wellness magazine for the last 10 years.
Yes.
So when we stop here in Birmingham, we will know we're ready.
Okay. In fact, I'm going to keep my eyes closed for a moment. I'll probably open them later, but keeping my eyes closed just keeps Maureen or me out of the distance. You'll also notice that I often speak about Maureen in third party. We're not channeling some other entity or being, and at the same time it's very separate from the consciousness that is speaking at this point, is very separate from Maureen the individual. And so you'll hear us speak about her, if we use her as an example on something, in third party, and also speak in plural, because it is a collective consciousness that is speaking. So is there someone with a question?
Hi, Maureen.
Hi.
I have a question in regards to my next career path,
Yes.
and I'm not certain what road I should take.
What are you considering?
The first one is acupuncture,
Mm-hmm.
the second, Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about all I have right now.
So what we're feeling is that you're really drawn to work with the energy system.
Yes.
We would have you explore a few other things. We do know about you personally that you've also been trained in massage in the past, yes? And you're not feeling drawn in that direction, is that right?
I may be, but I'm not certain yet.
Okay. Acupuncture, we're going to talk a little bit, or in fact, we would like you to talk. So talk about your feelings and thoughts about moving and envisioning yourself in acupuncture as an acupuncturist.
I guess the question that draws me to acupuncture is I'm divorced, I'm on my own now, and I want to focus on some quality of life that I can take wherever I go. I'm always worked with my hands. It's not in my career right now, but again, the energy work. So all those three career paths takes me in that distance.
How do you envision yourself as an acupuncturist?
What do you mean?
Well, we're gonna interrupt because we do not see you at this point, and one of the things we want to make sure is that one of the things Maureen in this work is not necessarily making predictions. Is we are able to respond to the energy that is literally resonating within you at this point in time. A month from now, there could be different things, but we're going to give you from this perspective today. The clinical setting of acupuncture, which, because there are some licensing and things, feels very burdensome for you right now. It feels heavy. It feels like it's not the strongest joy. It's a practicality, and the holistic medicine and that approach is very appealing to you, and working with the energy system in the body. But we feel you're going to actually find a couple of modalities, not just Reiki. There are a few others that will cross your path, and that is the direction that we feel will be the most mobile, because travel is the strongest thing. And so what you want to be able to do, now Maureen of course has traveled and taught Reiki since 1996, is her first class that she taught on the mainland, and it's worked really well for her. But it wasn't even a plan, it was just sort of there. So what you want to start with, so that your energy is really aligned and clear, is what you enjoy and what is right now joyful to do. We would also suggest, this came up in our conversation as we were waiting to film today, and that is that we would encourage you to do a gradual transition rather than just quitting your day job and going off. And part of that is for just financial ease. So you can certainly do part-time energy work. So Reiki is absolutely one of the things that you will be able to do, but there's going to be more. There's going to be other things, because Reiki is a very supportive practice for everybody, and we can feel there's a part of you, a hunger in you to be more impactful in people's lives, more direct, and so we can definitely see you working with 2 or 3 modalities, which happens to be what drew you, the way you approached massage also, is there wasn't just one particular factor, but 2 or 3 modalities that are working more on the energetic level. And back when Maureen first started teaching Reiki in 1995, it was very difficult for someone to begin and develop a full-time practice with Reiki. because it wasn't well known, and people were still educated to a place where if they were getting body work or getting hands-on work, massage was what they were familiar with. And actually here in Hawaii, it was easier to build a massage practice than a lot of places on the mainland where massage even had an odd connotation at times. And so here in Hawaii, for generations, it's been a part of the culture, you know, between the Asian culture and Lomi Lomi and so forth. But today, people are really responding faster and better with energy work. So we feel that acupuncture, although it's a possibility that we wouldn't completely eliminate, but we think that it's what caught your attention because it's what you know is available in training and energy work. But we think there's going to be 2 or 3 modalities that you will work with that will really work with transformation with people. We see you also working more on the mental and emotional level than just the physical level, and that's your forte. That's your forte. You can hold the space for someone to make huge shifts in their emotional well-being, their inner peace, and we're going to say this is an interesting strength of will. So that's one of the things. So those particular things are there. And we can talk some more later about more possibilities. But keep your eyes open for what crosses your path that calls to you that is related to energy work.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So anybody else? Yes?
I have a question. What is the best way to perceive in general, like your own life when it seems to be at face value, like just in chaos, from personal, romantic relationship to finances to family? If it all seems like chaos, is that just
So we're just going to do a lovely quote from Richard Bach to start things off in your answer, and that is, what the caterpillar considers the end of his life, the butterfly discovers is the beginning. And so for you, what we can feel very strongly with you is you had very clear intention that what was going on in your life and where you were going was a direction that wasn't going to get you your heart's desire. And so there was this very clear intention. It was done on it didn't have to be a moment, it could have been built up over time, but sometime within the last 3 to 6 months, you made a decision and you just said, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to move beyond, to get to where I want to go. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm done. And that's exactly the chaos that you stepped into. And it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. So we want to go back and just tell a story about Maureen, because this will reassure you if nothing else. And that is that she, back in 1991, she had just quit her corporate management job, had decided to train as a Reiki master, ended up going off to Israel for 3 months on an invitation, was back, and then there was a funeral, a family member, an older uncle who had passed away. And so Maureen was heading to Canada to go back for this funeral, and she knew she was going to see all her cousins and all these family. And she was about 38 at the time. And she's looking at her life going, oh, interesting. No home. Certainly it was transitional. At the time, Maureen had sold her car, so she didn't even have a car, so no home. She was just renting, basically, the couch in a friend's place and temporarily. No car at the moment. She had no relationship, no kids, no profession, no assets, no nothing. And here she was, 38 years old, going back to meet all of her relatives. So they're all she's anticipating them asking her, so, who are you, what are you doing, and where's the success in your life, which is how she was expecting to have to answer to everybody. And so she goes to the funeral and she's meeting the aunts and the uncles and cousins and so forth. And she talked to one cousin who is her eldest cousin, a couple years older than her, and she's always looked up to this cousin. And here's the cousin, pregnant with her first baby. She's a professor at a college and director of nursing or something at some place. And she's very, very well established professionally, again, just reaching 40. and married, they have this beautiful house on the hill, blah, blah, blah. So Maureen goes up to her cousin, and the cousin says, so, you know, what's up? And Maureen's confessing. She says, I feel like I'm an absolute failure. You know, no family, no, you know, no marriage, no kids, no house, no car, no profession. I'm just in limbo. And her cousin looks at her and says, you've got to be kidding. She says, I have been living vicariously about stories about you for the last few years. She says, you just live a dream life. You have all this freedom, you're in Hawaii, you're doing blah, 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 doing all these things. And Maureen went, oh, okay. Because, so you asked you had the answer in your question, perspective. So how much freedom are you experiencing in your life right now?
100%.
Absolutely. And the only thing we heard you think of briefly and didn't acknowledge out loud was the financial. And is that could be freer. That could be freer. And we want to say is part of this journey for you is to not ever let cash flow or money be a limit in your life. And so you don't have to complicate things, and actually the more money you bring in, the easier it becomes, but you do not have to complicate things by trying to worry or figure out how you're going to have the money to do something. You've already discovered, you just get up and do it. And if you keep doing that and have less and less focus on the pinch with cash flow or limits or feeling like you don't have freedom, we want you to focus on all you have to think about, the only perspective you need to worry about is freedom. And as long as you remember that freedom is the theme for this lifetime for you, everything else gets easy.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Oh my gosh. You really just...
That's the gift. And Maureen is just so delighted because her gift is connecting to someone's essence. So we really connect to your higher self. We're not giving information or advice. We're connecting to who you really are.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
thrill.
I feel so much better.
Yes. Do we have anything else? Do we have time for any more?
I have
Oh, you have one? And then
quick question about we're taking this show to a new level. We got an opportunity for a recording studio, and so we're really excited. I feel that's a really good direction for the community as well.
It's going to be a wonderful thing for the community, and we want to say that for you personally, it is going to be a really successful business venture, and we want you to also hold your broader perspective. And you are such a generous person, and you are the most amazing networker, and you're the most amazing support of people who are living their dream, trying to get to their dream. And we want you to remember to keep, and this is why you had the dream you spoke about earlier, about the very successful woman that you were in the dream. And that's the kind of mindset you need to hold in your work. It's not about helping everybody out. It's about running a very successful business, and people who are really ready to be on TV and having this internet streaming. The studio can be, well, we're not going to say 24 hours a day, but certainly 10 to 12 hours a day. It can be very busy, very active, and you'll have this lovely, lovely business. You've got the partners that you're connected with are really good partners. There'll be maybe some minor transition, but it only is because they'll be moving on to something else, and someone will come and fill that space. But you're an anchor for that. You're an absolute anchor. Yeah, it is. And what you're noticing, and in fact, we had some amazing energetic glitches today with all of our electronic equipment, and we want to say that there are some pieces that you want to just get clear about. Something doesn't flow easily with this new studio, just stop. Just say, okay, that you have so much protection and so much support on a non-physical level for this vision and business, that you have to follow the non-logical messages. And so yes, so it's surrender, let go. If it's not easy, don't do it, and then just keep moving forward.
And that's with everything in life.
Absolutely, but especially for this business. You called in some very powerful energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It is.
Well, I've been working with you for many years, almost as a life coach. So.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been great.
And
it's been really, really delightful to observe the expansion and the growth and the clarity that you hold. That your predominant focus and clarity now is 200% what it was when we first met.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to tell them again how to contact you and your website and your phone number?
Yes, yes. So
Great.
you can go to enjoyinglife.com. That's enjoyinglife.com. And it will link you to my other websites. The intuitive website is ourhigherwisdom.com. You can also, I'm here in Honolulu through the rest of 2012.
Great.
I have a couple of intuitive gatherings coming up. The best thing I would suggest is go to my website, sign up for the newsletter. I definitely do not bombard you. I don't have enough time to send too many newsletters out. But it will give events. It'll say when I'm in Europe or on the mainland and wherever I'm traveling, so you can find me. And sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll get the news. I always put some interesting links in. I feel if someone takes the time to get through the newsletter and read it, I put a surprise link near the bottom, which is always something amusing, fun, or inspiring. So
Well, that's exciting.
yeah, it's a little gift for tuning in. So
Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you, audience, for being here. And
thank you
everybody.
so much.
That's an amazing
Thank you very
insight.
much.
So we got to hear from Maureen, and you know, Maureen's a wiser
Yes.
self today, so
Yes.
it's a privilege. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Hui hou.